Alright, so I'm watching Amala Ekpunobi. I'm probably mispronouncing her name. I apologize for that. But I've been watching her video on the Minneapolis shooting. And so we're going to play the clip of that section where she shows the shooting taking place. So let's start it here. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to try to pause it in areas to explain certain things.
Now, here's what went down. As you can see, there are ICE agents in the streets there in Minneapolis. They were carrying out an immigration operation. Now, many people are going around these days, following ICE agents, trying to find them, trying to impede their operations and stop the different raids that they're carrying out here in the U.S. This seems to be one of those occasions where protests were being carried out. People were deciding to block traffic to stop the ICE agents from being able to drive down the road. And this is what occurred.
Alright, so I want you to see there. Officers walk up. They're trying to open the door. She backs up and to the right, right? You've seen that. Alright, we'll play that. We'll go back here a little bit and we'll play it again. I want you to watch that. Alright, so we'll play back this again.
Road, and this is what
Pay attention. She's going to be backing up. See, you see her back legs? She's back. Which way she's right? She's backing up to the right there, or straight to the left. Backing up to the left. So she's not trying to hit anybody. She's trying to back up. Comes to a stop, and immediately, it's basically she rolls backwards. But now watch. Right, this she just was rolling backwards. Now she's gonna go forward. Watch her front wheels. She's turning and she spins off, and you hear the shooting.
Oh my fucking God!
All right. So immediately, as soon as she starts pulling forward to the right, she's not going towards anybody, because remember, she's backing up to the left. That means her front wheels are pointing to the left. And she's operating quickly. She's trying to get out of there. So she's backing up quickly to the left, stops, puts it in drive, turning the wheel to the right, and starts driving off. And you can see it immediately to the right. Right? She was not trying to run over any officers. And you see, there was no time. It wasn't like, oh, and you get this claim that she hit someone. No, I want you to go back and look. Because I know there's a video on Fox News claiming to show it.
Road, and this is what occurred.
Officer being hit. I want you to pay attention. All right. So here, the video on Fox News shows a guy standing here, getting hit. Watch, pay attention. So you got this guy here. You see this guy. So he doesn't get hit. He just moves his leg. He does not get hit. And she was not going towards him. So watch. We'll play this again. Pay attention.
Block traffic to stop the ICE agents from being able to
play
drive
this
down
again.
the road. And this is what
Pay attention. Pay attention to where she's going, where the ICE agent is standing. She's not trying to run him over. Well, turning to the right. She's going to the right, and they start open fire. All right. So let's explain this here. She is clearly trying to leave. She is clearly panicked, trying to leave, trying to get out of there without hitting anybody. Very clear from the video. You got agents crowding around here. Okay. Now here's the thing. She was clearly not trying to run anybody over. Very clearly. That's very clear. So what we need to do then is establish, does fleeing from a scene constitute law enforcement or the government using lethal or deadly force? According to the rules of the use of force, you responding as an officer or agent of the government cannot escalate the type of force being used. You can only use the type of force that is being presented by the person you're responding to. So, For the officers to open fire, which is deadly force, she had to have been doing something that either is objectively the use of deadly force, or a reasonable person in the moment would see that as being reasonable force. You see in this video very clearly, she backs up to the right, she moves forward to the, or she backs up to the left, she moves forward to the right. Very clearly, that shows that she is not trying to run anybody over. She's trying to get out of there without hitting anybody. Therefore, no reasonable person in that moment, seeing that she backed up to the left and then she started pulling off to the right, would claim that she was trying to run them over. She was, all right? Now I get, you have officers in a dangerous situation. They understand all that situation. That was what I was looking for. I was actually looking to come in here, look at this video, and yes, I swear in the right. However, looking at the facts, looking at the events that took place, looking at the use of force rules, you cannot make that claim. Even if she did clip that guy, which is not shown in this video, it just shows him dancing to get out of the way. And so I would argue, in fact, we'll pull that up here. I would argue that the video on Fox News is not showing him being hit, but simply showing him getting out of the way. Because you look at where this vehicle is. Door open. She's trying to not hit the door. She's not trying to hit that guy. There's not a lot of room there. You're not going to have 10 feet between the vehicle while she's trying to flee and him. You're not going to have that. There's not the room. So you can't say, you cannot make the case that, oh, the agent was close to her path of travel, therefore no. You have to, part of that is, you gotta look at the situation. She was turning her wheel. That is the key thing. She had her wheel turned to the right when she was rolling forward. That meant she was not actively going after the agent. Any approach of her vehicle to the agent was incidental to her trying to avoid hitting that vehicle while trying to leave. It's very clear from the direction of the wheels. All right? And you would see that. Okay? They basically fired the second she started pulling forward. That is not enough time to establish that she is trying to run you over. That would be the equivalent of an officer having a suspect on the ground, guns aimed at him, and he flinches his arm, and they open fire and shoot him. Would you expect in that situation to say, oh no, the police were utilizing use of force appropriately? No. All right? If he was trying to run away and had his hands in front of him, guess what? You don't have the right to say then, oh, yeah, we thought he was going for a gun that we couldn't see. No, you actually have to establish the objective standards. All right? You can't just say, oh, hey, we felt threatened. Like, you as a private citizen can make that claim. Law enforcement, agents of the government cannot, because they are held to a different standard because of the role of their engagement. You have to show that there was actual use or intention to use deadly force, or that the use of deadly force was a logical proceeding from the event that occurred. For example, if she had driven straight at him for even a second, then you could make the claim that they could have thought she was trying to run them over. But she does not do that. She immediately is turning to the right. All right? You got to remember, it takes time to turn your wheel. All right? She doesn't go at him for a minute. She doesn't go at him for a second. It is immediate. She backs up to the left. Her wheels are to the left. She turns her wheel to the right while she's moving forward, and she goes off to the right. Like, there is literally no moment where you can objectively say she was trying to run him over. All right? The people who are saying that, I would argue, is basing it on this video from Fox News. Let's go pull it up. I don't have it pulled up here because I wasn't expecting to do that on it, but we'll pull it up. Fox News. All right. We'll go to there. So, all right. See, pull it up on here. Again, it's funny. It's different on my phone. It's here. Let's go to politics. Maybe that will get something to. I love how it's literally like 15 minutes ago. It had one showing a video on here. All right, let's try this. Fox News. Video. Showing Minneapolis ICE shooting from front of car. Let's see here. Okay, this looks like this might be it. So we'll get this plan. Not this big. Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning. Just so you know.
So you notice.
It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later.
So I want you to notice. Already you see differences in these two videos. All right. In the other video, you see agents getting out of the car, approaching the vehicle, telling her, "Hey, get out of the car." She yells, no, backs up to the left, pulls out to the right. You don't see anybody else around the vehicle. Only ICE agents, or at least we say agents in body armor.
That's fine.
Now you see all these other people around the vehicle. You see big cars going by, which you did not see in the first video.
Go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Now watch. So here's the moment where she's pulling off to the right. At this point in the other video, there are shots fired. And it shows her, you don't hear no shots being fired. You hear, there's no showing him being hit. Just, you see, basically on the way that video is, that would appear like he fell down, but you see in the other video, no one fell down. We'll play it again. All right. But here's the thing. I want you to notice. You got a video here. You got a guy walking forward.
We don't change our plates every morning. Just so you
Now it's gonna watch this. It's gonna cut.
When you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen.
So you see, it had this guy. There was no one walking around the vehicle earlier.
Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
So you notice that shows a guy being hit, okay, and falling down. Let's go back to the other video. All right. So based on what you've seen in that
raids
video,
that they're carrying out here in the U.S.
What
This
just
seems to
happened?
be one of those occasions where protests were being carried out. People were deciding.
I don't get this. All right. So I want you to pay attention. So based on that video, what is it? I love how this thing just turns things off.
No!
Watch. So that would be the guy. See, he doesn't show it getting knocked down.
What the fuck?
So you got these two different videos. It doesn't show him getting, like, that's literally like, oh, let me move my leg out of the way because it's closed. It does not show that he. So you basically, what Fox News is doing is they are showing an edited version of things, and choosing perspective of things to make it look like something that when you look at from another angle, such as this, where you can clearly, for example, you can see the guy. So, watch him.
No!
You see him there.
Oh, shit!
See, you see his leg move. He didn't get hit. His leg moved.
What the fuck? You just fucking
So, so which one do you trust? This one is very clearly
Okay.
not
there you have it.
edited.
We are
You know, Amal Punami did not edit this video here clearly, because otherwise you would see disconnects in how things move. You see an agent in moving his leg to give more clearance to the vehicle to avoid being hit, but she's not trying to hit him. She is trying to flee. This would be like a guy standing in the crosswalk and you're trying to edge past him and he gets clipped. Then said, "Oh, you were trying to run that guy over the crosswalk." No, I was trying to slide past him. You have to look, this is where you can't just look at something in a video. You got to look at multiple videos. You got to look at multiple angles. And that's what it shows. Fox News is literally picking a video to show you that makes it look like the guy got hit when he didn't. As you can see here, again, we'll show you. Pay attention to the leg. Okay?
drive down the road, and this
Show
is
you
what
again.
occurred.
Watch the leg.
No! No!
Watch the leg. Watch the leg. See, he moves his leg. He doesn't get hit.
Fucking God! What the?
That's what you would do. Like, she's trying to flee. She's not trying to run him over. He was just standing in the only way. Because guess what? A vehicle does not turn on the spot. It makes a curve. And she has to also stay away from this car so she doesn't hit that. So she's trying not to hit this. She's trying not to hit him. And she gets shot. Now, you can argue all you want whether she should have tried to leave. You argue all you want. All that, whether what she was doing was smart. That is beside the point, because the point is this was the ICE agents using deadly force. Deadly force by the agent, when it is not called for by the situation, is the ICE agent escalating use of force and is prohibited by law. By the ICE agents utilizing deadly force, they escalated the situation. They are the aggressor. They broke the law because the police do not have the right to escalate use of force. All right? If I am not using deadly force, they can't use deadly force against me. That is use of force law. That is trained in the military when you go in. I was trained to do security force work in the military, which is basically military police. It's basically I was trained to do the job of a police man in the military with specific training on how to do pat-downs, on how to arrest, how to respond to a situation where you're dealing with potentially armed conflict, as in the occupation of police work. And you're taught you don't escalate the use of force. You only use the use of force equivalent to or lower than what they are using as needed. They did not need to fire their weapon. So, I understand that, like, I'm all for ICE doing their job. I'm all for the police doing their job. But here's the thing. You cannot just say, oh, they're ICE agents, they're police agents, they're government agents. Therefore, anything and everything they do is okay because I'm pro. No. You got to treat every situation individually. You have to look at the facts. You have to understand there are good people and bad people on the police force, on the ICE force, in the government. All right? Just because they work for the government doesn't mean they're good. All right? You have to look at the situation. You have to look at what the applicable laws and rules and regulations that affect it. And that is, in this situation, governed by use of force. Use of force per the federal government is you use a force only that at par with what you're being faced off. Okay, that doesn't mean if they have a gun and you have to use a gun. Okay, that's not what that means. Use of force, it's not dealing with the weapon, but with the potential outcome. Let me give you an example here. In the military, in basic training, you're taught to use your weapon in a multiple number of ways. One of the ways you use your weapon is as a blunt object. And one of the things they tell you, if you raise your weapon up and hit them with the butt, so you bring it up over your shoulder and then jab straight out with the butt of the weapon, that is not deadly force. But if you however, stab forward with the nozzle of the rifle, where the part of the rifle where the bullet comes out, if you stab that at them, that is deadly force. So the same act, thrusting your weapon towards an opponent, one situation is deadly force, the other situation is not deadly force, even though you're using the same weapon, doing the same motion, just you're using a different end of the weapon. The butt of the weapon is not considered deadly force because the likelihood of you dying or being injured to the point of dying from the butt of the weapon is very minimal, to the point of it should not and most likely will not happen. However, there's some exceptions to that. And for example, if I'm doing it to your face, then, okay, that's it. But just simply the act, say if I punch you into your chest, which is where you're trained in the military, is aim for the chest. Me hitting you with the butt of the weapon in the chest is not going to kill you. Or it should not. Most likely situation. If it does, there's probably something going on that you're not going to know in a situation, and therefore it's not applicable to that situation. However, the muzzle of the weapon is narrow enough that it can't cause damage that will trigger death, directly or indirectly, as a result of using that end of the weapon. So there's all these rules that you have to think about to determine whether you can use deadly force or not. And when it comes to a motorized vehicle, one of the things you have to keep in mind: one, does she show intent to run over the ICE agent? No. She is not driving towards him. She is driving to the right to go down the road while trying to avoid the vehicle within the constraints of a vehicle. A vehicle does not just turn on a dime. All right? I want you to go try it. Go get in your vehicle. Go sit in there. Go on a 2-lane road. Park on one side, and then try, without having to do a 3-point turn or going off the road or using a intersection or whatever. Try to turn on a 2-lane road completely just on the road. So you're like on this road here. Like say, try to be right here and try to turn around, just one motion, and go the other way. Dare you to try to do it. You can't do it. Why? Because of physics. Vehicle can only turn so far and so in such amount of time. All right? And that is what she is doing. She is backing up, pulling to the right. All right? He danced to get out of the way because he was in the lane of travel of the vehicle that trying to leave. You being in the lane of travel does not make it mean that she is trying to run over you. It means that she is trying to leave, and you're in the way that a person would naturally go. Therefore, she is not trying to run over you. You are just simply in the wrong place where you should be. And that is one of the things you get taught in training in situations like this, is you ensure you are never in the potential crosshairs or the potential line of path that they would take. So if you're arresting someone in a vehicle, you don't stand directly behind them. You don't stand directly in front of them. Or in the end of the path that they would go, if they were trying to turn, when they have possession of the car keys. You want to go walk behind, you get possession of the keys. You walk up, say, hey, look, take your keys out. Hand them to you while we talk to you. Now you can go direct, because now she can't, unless she has another set of keys, can't operate the vehicle. But you don't just walk up behind her like that. For example, when you get stopped on the side of the road, does the officer get out, stop behind you, get out of his car, and stand behind your vehicle, between his vehicle and your vehicle? No, they do not. They'll either come up on your driver's side, or they will walk around their vehicle and approach your vehicle on the passenger side. I've seen it both ways. All right? It doesn't matter. That's how they're going to do it. They're not going to stand between your vehicle, or they should not, if they're doing their job right, stand between your vehicle and their vehicle and behind, or get in front of your vehicle. Why? Because they know, hey, if they try to run and I'm in front of them, I can get hit. Not because they're trying to run me over, but because they're trying to flee. And that is what's going on here. It's very clear. All right? So you can't sit there and say, oh, she tried going that way and he's standing right there and he danced to get out and make sure she didn't hit him, that she was trying to run him over. No. You have to think more than just, oh, he danced out of the way. Like he was never even hit. You see that. He jerked his foot over, but it's still standing. If he got hit, you should see that transference of force from the vehicle to him. And the timing does not coincide with that, because they start firing as soon as she starts pulling forward. That means they had already made the decision to use deadly force from her backing up. So she's backing up. They're already deciding to use deadly force when she starts pulling forward. Right? Because it takes a little bit of time for that executive function in your brain to trigger that. No matter, even when it's a conditioned response. Conditioned response, there is always a time lag because your brain is still doing work. All right? Conditioned reflex just means you're not actively making the decision. You're not going, okay, I'm going to shoot my weapon. No, it's conditioned reflex. But you have to, that conditioned reflex has to be some in the moment makes you feel that way. And there's nothing about her. It wasn't like running at them and like, hey, stop. You know, like in my job, I work with youth. You know, like, and guess what? You know, I see a youth punching on another youth. I don't just go run and dive tackle him, but I yell at him, hey, let him go. Stop punching him. All right. Now I'm approaching as fast as I can, safely. But I'm yelling at them, telling them what to do. And when they don't do it, that's when I engage. Fortunately, I don't have to do that much. I thank God for that, you know. But that's how I do it. Is I am not just simply going, oh, hey, something happened, and therefore I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. You know, oh, a vehicle drove forward, I'm going to shoot him. Oh, subject twitched his arm, I'm going to shoot him. Like, that is literally the type of what you are when you're saying, oh, they were right in fire. No, they were not. For that very reason. As I said, she is clearly driving to try to get away. They fired upon her using deadly force when there was no just cause. All right? Being law enforcement, being a government agent does not give you carte blanche right to do whatever you want. It doesn't. You don't have a carte blanche right to say, oh, hey, I seen a vehicle move, so therefore they're trying to run me over. No, you don't get to say that. You need to show probable cause showing that she was going to run you over, by showing that she was traveling in a path that is not the objective path that a person would take to leave from where the vehicle is standing, from what direction the vehicle is parked, for them to travel down the road safely without hitting other people or other vehicles on the road. And you cannot make that case in here. It is very clear that she is trying to leave. I apologize. I did not intend for this to be 30 minutes, and it ended up being 30 minutes. But I just wanted to stress very clearly that the evidence shows that she was not trying to run him over.